Good morning, everyone. Okay, I'm going to be on time. The Shark Tank of Wellness is a unique global challenge in which university students have the opportunity to submit their most innovative, impactful idea for the wellness industry. And we define that, as you know, anything in architecture, design, beauty, education, fitness, hospitality, investment, medicine, nutrition, real estate, spa, technology, travel, tourism, and more. This year, we received 60 entries from 26 countries. And today, you're going to see the 3 finalists, absolutely amazing. They're going to defend their ideas in front of our wellness sharks. The finalists are chosen on project innovation, visual appeal and design, relevance to wellness, viability as a business, and the quality of the presentation itself, which included a formal written proposal and a 2-minute video. So this morning, we're going to introduce each finalist, play their video, so you get to see the project, and then the student has 1 minute to address our judges, our sharks, and then the judges have 9 minutes for questions. So speaking of judges, it's my absolute pleasure to introduce our own wellness sharks, and I ask them to come up. William Marango, Senior Director of Operations, Ritz-Carlton. Andrew Gibson, Accor Hotels, and they'll take their seats. Jane Iredale, Mineral Cosmetics. Sheila McCann, Shivasam International Health Resort. Jacqueline Piotaz Cosmetics. Frank Pizzicalis, Resort Suite. And Mike Pugliese, Circadia by Dr. Pugliese. Just a little hand for these guys. They reviewed all the final, semifinal submissions, did a lot of hard work behind the scenes to get here. Okay, our first student is from the University of Southern California. Welcome, Mikey Ahdoot. Mike, we're going to take a look at your video first, and then you'll come up for 1 minute to tell something to the sharks your video doesn't tell them.
So for the most successful people on the planet, we hear over and over that habits are one of the key drivers of their success. That being said, habits are ridiculously hard to build. We all know New Year's resolutions get ditched very quickly, and a reason for habits being so difficult is because of the availability of tools out there. So on one end of the spectrum, you have habit tracking apps and Excel spreadsheets, which provide maybe a little accountability, but they usually tend to get abandoned after a couple days or a week or so. On the other side of the spectrum, you have personalized coaching, which is freaking awesome. It's very effective, but has such a high price point and is for a very premium market. And there's a giant gap in between these two, leaving a giant pain point for people who are trying to add habits. So that's where the app that we're building comes in. It's called Every Damn Day. It's pretty simple. It works first by the user choosing a specific success habit that you want to master. And once you do, you're getting daily videos, audio clips, success stories to inspire you, useful tools, pro tips, affirmations, daily challenges, and more to keep you going. You can track your progress in the app with your habit, and more importantly, you can track the actual benefits that you're seeing from doing your habit on a daily basis. And lastly, to light a fire under your ass, each user gets matched with a hand-picked accountability partner. And each time one of you does your habit, it'll automatically tag the other person, letting them know that you did yours, lets them know if you're on a streak. And there's also a chat in between you two, so you can keep each other in check. So just a quick intro, but yeah.
Okay, Mikey Ahdoot.
Good morning. So we submitted that video 5 months ago, and as we know with startups, things move really quickly, and we learned something about our customers, which is digital is great, it's still on our landscape, but they really like and care about physical, printed, tangible products. So we took those exact themes and built our first physical product. It's called the Morning Sidekick Journal. Very simple. It helps you just build a morning routine every day, morning routine and ritual every day. And we've done 100K in sales our first year with 0 advertising. And I'm incredibly excited for our next product launch, which is same theme. It's a gratitude journal that you write for one specific person that you care about, and fill out with entries of how you're grateful for them and who they are as a person, and give it to them as a secret gift and surprise gift afterwards. And to make the process easy, we give 30 story ideas to spark specific moments, so this is really memorable for them. And 400 stickers and all this to make an awesome presentation.
Okay, and now the judges have 9 minutes to grill you.
Hit me.
Wow, that was quite the pivot from your submission to that, and so obviously you've taken us a bit by surprise, but interesting for sure. What would you like to get out of winning this competition? If you were to win this competition, what would you hope it would do for you and your idea?
Yeah, so we have, at this point, there's so many different avenues that we want to explore on the marketing side. I've spent so much time doing product development and learning what our customers want. And at this point, our biggest challenge is just going to be distribution as a startup. So we have people that I really want to hire who are incredible to start working with. And this can get the ball rolling for us to be profitable with them our first month and have it be self-sustaining from there and really help us grow.
How does the tracking system work? But as we all know, a human being are sometimes, for the results, and we need some control.
Yeah. So in there, we set the tracking elements for that specific journal. And you could actually take a look at it in there for what specifically we track. But it's very simple. It's basically, what time do I plan on sleeping tonight and waking up tomorrow? What time did I actually sleep tonight and wake up tomorrow? What's my biggest task of the day? What do I want to accomplish today? What are the biggest distractions I'll face at night before falling asleep? Stuff to just build your morning routine out and ritual out.
I'm going to stick to the knitting, the original submission.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be distracted by this because I don't think it's fair to the other applicants. I'm going to ask you about content creation.
Okay.
You've got a lot of content ideas on the app. How are you going to fund that? What proportion of your initial setup is going to be towards content, and where are you going to source that?
Yeah, so we already started creating our own content, and something we really wanted to get down was a channel of distribution for that. So we started posting and just seeing what works on our social channels. And we've grown our Facebook and Instagram to 200,000 plus followers each. And we just have so much data of what works. So for to answer your question specifically, we record the content ourselves. It's totally made by me and my co-founders. And we're able to test and see what's getting great reactions from people, what actually helps from people. So yeah.
Well, my question is, I noticed that in the original write-up, you restricted this to a fairly narrow age range. Why did you feel it necessary to do that?
I was definitely incorrect about that because I'm starting to see it definitely has a larger age appeal. A lot of our customers are moms. A lot of our customers that are everywhere from students to, we have a 73-year-old rabbi in New York City who bought our product, and we talked to a lot. So there really is a broad audience for it. I was definitely wrong about that.
There are a lot of products similar in the market, a lot of apps,
Yeah.
wearables, and so on, and journals.
Yeah.
What makes you different from the competition?
It's a great question. And I think two things set us apart. One, something that we got really good at is, guys, we're young, right? I can't say I have 20 years of experience in this because I don't. But what we got very good at is taking all the amazing research that's out there and pulling the most useful points and putting it in a really simple structure and system. It's exactly what we're doing with the app that we're building, and it's exactly what we did with the journal. And it really helps people walk through a home and a comprehensive system of building a specific habit out. Does that answer your question?
And taking that question just a little bit further,
Yeah.
Because you've put a lot of thought into this, and you're very passionate, we can see about it. just give me an idea of how you've recognized distribution is the big problem.
Yeah.
Give me an idea how you would think about getting credibility and reliability in the market on yours. What would you do to secure that? What would be needed?
Yeah, so one great thing is I think we've done a lot of work to get that. So we've partnered with Harvard Business School, with the NFL. They've got in our journals and worked with us, and we've been on all the top blogs. So honestly, I feel like that layer of credibility is starting to build. Does that answer your question?
My question is, if you win and
Yeah.
you do receive the funds, where's your first place going to go with that capital? Where are you going to put it?
Immediately into hiring, into expanding our team.
What would be the first hire you'd make?
Yeah,
Doesn't matter, he can answer it.
yeah, they're asking who the first hire is going to be, and probably his main, we have him already working with us, but part-time, and he's helping us with marketing right now, but it would definitely expand to all the roles in a startup.
Come on, Sharks.
All right, you've got a few minutes left, so tell me what's your personal wellness? What's your view on wellness? How do you live a well life?
Yeah, so my background is I grew up 200 plus pounds. I was the cutest muffin you've ever seen as a kid. And my habits were totally thrown off. I woke up at noon for 5 years straight. Horrible. I was that nerd who played World of Warcraft for 12 hours a day, didn't have that many friends growing up. And I really knew, like, if I wanted to be massively successful, you just can't have that as a vehicle. So I started reading like crazy and just got obsessed with what leads to having willpower and discipline and what leads to living a great life and productive life every day. And it slammed my head against the wall for like 5 years trying to get that together. And after finding out what I know now, I could have done it in a month and a half because of all the incredible research and books that are out there. But if you're undisciplined, you're not going to open a 300-page book and read it. And that's really like what we're trying to do, is make it so easy and accessible and assemble that information in certain places.
Regarding revenue, what's the revenue that you have so far?
Our first year was 130K with no advertising. We just started ads like 2 months ago, and we're up to 30K a month in revenue right now. So I project we'll break $1 million this year. But yeah.
And what is your cost?
Per journal?
Overall.
Overall, on the 130K, our cost was around 35K. We have great margins.
So in a world that's going digital, what made you pivot sort of to kind of kick it old school?
Yeah, so initially we sold a digital PDF of that because this has literally exactly what the app broke down, but in a paper format. And it led to us, I called at least 100 people and learned what are their experiences with using this product. And the biggest thing is they were getting very overwhelmed with apps, and it's a huge market. We're definitely going to go there, and digital is huge in that aspect. But there's just a huge demand for paper products and printed products you can actually hold and use and write in.
Thanks. You've got 40 seconds to tell me what's the shelf life of this product. How long do you think this will last?
Initial gut reaction from other products out there, at least 10 years from now, if not longer.
Sharks, anything else?
Mr. Wonderful?
All good? Mr. Wonderful. Okay,
Yeah.
Mikey,
he
thank
might
you
be
very much. Awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Our second finalist is Maria Gilles from École Hôtelière de Lausanne in Switzerland. We're going to play Maria's video and then invite her up.
I am presenting a toothbrush that has the ability to measure the pH level for acidity and alkalinity of our saliva. Its main goal is to serve as a tool that will help us understand our health better and consecutively guide us to make healthier choices regarding our diet and lifestyle. An unbalanced pH can lead to fatigue, skin problems, headaches, and can be an indicator of more serious conditions such as diabetes or cardiovascular diseases. Consequently, a balanced pH is fundamental to bring the body back to vitality. Even though there are many sources of acidity in the environment, the biggest contributor to an imbalanced pH is our diet. However, a survey presented by the International Food Information Council Foundation shows that 52% of those polled think it is difficult to know what dietary choices to make to be healthier. This toothbrush has part of the answer. A pH strip is incorporated into our toothbrush, so that when brushing our teeth first thing in the morning, the pH level will be collected and shared with our smartphone. In case of imbalance, it will guide us through several questions in order to better understand the reasons, and give suggestions on how to bring our body back to balance. BeHealth will collect data daily and measure progress. The data collected can be shared with our doctors for a possible early diagnosis. A study conducted by NYU Langone Medical Center in 2015 concluded that over 58% of smartphone users have already downloaded a health-related app on their device. Moreover, BCC research forecasts that global revenues for mobile health will reach $21.5 billion in 2018. Thus, a large part of the population is already convinced about using technology to monitor and improve their health. This, combined with a forecast by Technavio, predicts that the global electric toothbrush market will grow to $6,050 million in the next 5 years. This trend towards better nutrition and health is also highlighted by PwC Health Research Institute, with the need to prepare for emerging technologies. The combination of a bright future for these technologies added to the shift in consumer vision to achieving a healthier life, as well as the relevance of pH, brought me to present you BeHealth.
Please welcome Maria. Maria, you've got 1 minute to talk to the judges and tell them something they wouldn't have learned from your video or your presentation, and then they will grill you.
Thank you. Good morning, I'm Maria, and this is my saliva. But it is also my pH. The problem is that I don't know what this means, I don't know what to do with this information, and I do not have the time to research all about it. It is a real shame because this little piece of paper can have a big impact on me living a well life. This is why I have created the Health Brush. It's a simple-to-use tool, cost-effective, and easy to use that will give me a daily snapshot on my everyday well-being. Therefore, I present you Health Brush, your health at the tip of your tongue. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Sharks, you've got 9 minutes for Maria.
So I have a question. So what type of diseases, conditions can we actually analyze based on the pH that's inside the mouth? I mean, what can we actually be expecting to measure while brushing our teeth?
Right, so it's going to measure for acidity, and although at the moment it cannot tell what specific health condition we have, it can be an early indicator for a problem in your overall health.
So I have an immediate follow-up question. What's the ideal pH when we're brushing our teeth in the morning?
Sorry, I didn't...
What would be the ideal pH? What should it be?
7.34 or 7.4 average is a balanced pH.
I have a question, which is more maybe a little bit of chemistry. Mm-hmm. We all use different types of toothpaste and different types of products in our mouth. And there's a certain lifetime that they will have an impact for within the mouth. So how does your toothbrush differentiate between my pH and that of my toothpaste?
Right, so because of the placement where the detector will be, your toothpaste will not be in contact. So as soon as your toothbrush is in contact with your mouth, the pH strip will be here at the back, and your toothpaste is here. So as soon as you put your toothbrush in your mouth, it will be measured before you have a chance to spread all the toothpaste around your mouth.
Do you have to wait a certain amount of time to get the pH tested? If we eat something too acidic and then we brush our teeth, will we get different reading compared to if we do it first thing in the morning?
Yes. So if you have a very heavy meal or you drink coffee and you brush your teeth straight away, the results will be will not be exact. So we recommend to wait half an hour between you eat something and you brush your teeth. So it doesn't have to necessarily be in the morning. It can also be at night if you have dinner and wait a bit and then brush your teeth.
Okay, my next. What is the benefit of combining a toothbrush with the pH device? Have you thought about other devices, like, for example, dental floss, like Philips does already, or even making the pH device a separate thing altogether?
Of course. So the difference between this device and others that already exist, or the pH paper strips, is that this is already incorporated into your everyday routine, so you don't forget about it. So you're going to brush your teeth every day, therefore it's not going to require any behavioral change.
Thank you.
The concept of what you're saying sounds very interesting, and it probably has a lot of appeal. I'm not so quite sure that your presentation has given enough justice into the applications of it, because they're unexplored. Have any medical institutes or any even toothbrush companies expressed an interest in what you're doing?
So at the moment, it has been a trend in the past couple of years to analyze different health conditions through your mouth. However, there's no toothbrush companies working on it at the moment, and this is why also we thought we could, instead of working against them and tackling the toothbrush market because it's huge and there's big players, we could work with them and, for example, do a licensing.
So what do you think you need the next step to get this to market?
So at the moment, we have developed a prototype, but it is not incorporated into a toothbrush head. So we would like to do that first. And second, we are working on protecting the technology because it is very simple, so we were surprised that it was not there yet. So we're taking the first steps in order to make sure that it's not taken away from a big toothbrush company.
So is there a product today that would, just a device, not a toothbrush, just a simple device that I don't need to use a strip, but I could just put it in my mouth and get a readout of what my pH is? Is there a product like that today?
Actually, yes, I found one online. However, the problem with this product is that you're going to get a number, but you're not going to get the benefits of an app where it will tell you actually this is balanced or it's not. So for those who don't know a lot about nutrition or about health, they might still look at this number the same they look at the paper strip and don't know what to do with it. And they don't record it over time, which is what the app will do.
Do you currently have any provisional patents or any patents applications now?
We are in the process for applying. However, we don't have the patent yet, no.
The crux of this is actually the pH test, isn't it? It's not the toothbrush.
Exactly.
So would there be another application you could see that would be more practical than using the toothbrush?
Yes, there could be. So the technology for having this in our mouth, it's there. Then we are waiting to see what is going to make the biggest impact, if it's going to be in a toothbrush or, as you mentioned, in another way to apply it.
Have you, sorry, I just wanted to ask on the patent question.
Yes.
Have you checked to see the company that came out with the digital reader, that they don't have a patent on the reader device? Have you looked into that? You said you found one online, but
yes.
Have you ordered that device to look at it, to see how it works? Anything to just research it further, and especially the patent side of it.
I have not personally ordered the device. I did go into lengths to research more about it and see if I could get it, but it is not easily available, the device. And I spoke with a patent lawyer, and they said this technology at the moment it is not protected, especially if it's going to work with Bluetooth to connect it to the phone.
So my question is, it's a wonderful idea, and everybody needs to know what their pH is. So I get a reading in the morning, and it's bright red, and I'm very acidic. What do I do with that information? Are you going to expand the app so that you can make suggestions about how we correct things?
Exactly. So the app aims at giving suggestions for you to balance your pH. However, it's not aiming at substituting a doctor. If over some time your pH is still unbalanced, we will suggest that you take medical advice. But it will give you suggestions in your diet and your lifestyle on how to make better choices.
Maria, why is this so important to you? Why you created this? Why is this so important to you? What's your passion on it?
Yes. So over a long time, I always wanted to eat healthier and have a healthier lifestyle. But sometimes I didn't know up to which point my body was responding well to it. And I thought, if I could do something where it doesn't require me to go to the doctors and get a blood test, and I can do it at home every day, I can try to help people to understand also their health better.
Maria, you've got just under 2 minutes left. Can you talk to us a little bit about the implication of why we should have an alkali pH in the mouth and what that means to the health and what that signals if indeed we are within that range, within that parameter?
Of course. So to have an alkaline body, normally it is balanced towards alkaline. The problem of not being alkaline is that your body is going to try to fight that. So your body will always try to bring your body back to balance. The problem is that they're going to bring those nutrients out of your bones because your bones have minerals. Therefore, those minerals will work against fighting the acidity, but obviously that can weaken your bones, and that can lead to several conditions, as I mentioned in the video, such as arthritis or inflammation.
We've got 50 seconds, judges. Sharks, anything?
If you could ask us one question, what would it be? You've got 40 seconds, so we'll have to be quick.
Right. What would you think would be the next big thing that this technology would be able to test?
We'll let Frank answer that one.
Actually, I'm going to reverse that right back to you. I mean, I think wearable technologies and technologies that measure our health are absolutely a trend. My question more is around the cost. I mean, what do you think if somebody, a consumer, looks for a toothbrush, what do you think they'd be willing to pay for something like this?
So the toothbrush is going to be the same cost as upscale Oral-B or Philips toothbrush, so around $200.
Great. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Maria.
Thank you.
Our next finalist didn't have to travel too far. He's from Florida State University, and he is Jarrod Luca. And we're going to roll Jarrod's video and then bring him up.
One of the most important aspects of wellness is mental health. Over 70% of Americans experience a trauma at one point in their lives, and currently, over 24 million Americans experience post-traumatic stress disorder at any given time. Therapy can be an expensive option, and therapists don't get analytics. My solution to that problem is EMDR virtual reality. EMDR is short for eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. This practice that was previously only available in select medical practices can now be implemented by the patient at home with any kind of VR headset. A voice guides the user to focus on the traumatic event. The patient will be asked to track the dot on the screen. Then they will rate how they're feeling. The patient will then focus on any feelings that came to mind during the eye movement and track the dot again. The voice guidance will provide helpful feedback to the patient and for a last time ask the user to track the dot on the screen. There are numerous case studies on this therapy, and from first-hand experience, I've seen the effectiveness. When I was a child, my mother passed away from breast cancer suddenly. This made every aspect of my life take a turn for the worst. I couldn't get out of bed, I didn't eat, I didn't have much of a social life, and I was stuck. I didn't know what to do, I didn't know where to turn. But then I discovered this therapy that instantly helped me. I want this solution to be at the forefront of every individual's mind. They need it in their hands so they can live their life fully and not be hindered by traumatic events or even generalized anxiety. Everyone deserves to live a good life. And I know this treatment will be able to help individuals, broken families, medical practices, and many more.
Please welcome Jarrod. Jarrod, you've got a minute to enlighten the judges, and then they've got 9 minutes to grill you.
Great, thank you. So as you can tell, this is an area of wellness that I'm extremely passionate about. My personal experience, relationship with psychologists, and the knowledge that I've gained at the summit has validated this solution for the market. Over the past few months, I've been working on a prototype that's now ready for clinical tests and studies. It's my hope that with the support of the global wellness community, EMDR virtual reality we'll be able to provide a cost-effective and accessible solution to help those suffering from PTSD and anxiety disorders. Thank you.
Okay, Sharks, you're up.
Okay, so you've given us a very passionate plea. Your video is very heart-rendering. And you finished by there saying, I know. How do you know? Have you got any credible research backup, support, or evidence to say that it's not just I know, there is evidence there? What is it? Just tell the audience what that evidence is.
Sure. So there's numerous case studies done on using virtual reality within the clinical setting, and there's good evidence from those case studies to support the effectiveness of it. I do not recall any of the medical journals, no.
So you said that you're ready to go to clinical trials yourself.
Pardon?
You said you're ready to go to clinical trials yourself.
Correct.
Right now. So what form does that take, or where are you doing it? And
that's something I've yet to figure out because I don't have anyone to partner with. So far, it's just been myself. I have my psychologist back home in Tallahassee who's more than willing to help. But especially being at this Global Wellness Summit, there's a ton of people who probably have the connections to help me bring this to a better setting to test this in.
Are there non-VR solutions to this, like ones that just software or some other? Are there other ones that are just non-VR available today?
Sure. So the most popular that some of you may be familiar with is Headspace. So Headspace is a guided meditation. So that'll help with some anxiety, some stress, but really it doesn't treat PTSD. What Emdr does that effectively treats PTSD is it uses the eye movement to move the trauma to the working memory, and then from there, they're able to remove the emotional charge and attachment that you have to that trauma. So then whenever it's brought up, you no longer have the adverse reaction that you once had.
Do you envision the device going to each person, so each person buying it, or through a doctor or an office?
Sure. So the way I see it is it can be licensed to medical practices, and then it can also be sold to individuals. The advantage of licensing it to medical practices is that not every therapy practice has doctors who are certified in EMDR.
Okay, that was actually my next question. Will your technology device have to be certified and evaluated by the government body in order to be approved for a treatment? If so, will that create more costs?
Yes, that will create more costs, but as long as I don't make any medical claim saying it's supported by the American Psychological Association, it doesn't need to go through any processes, but it is my hope that it will be approved by the American Psychological Association.
So we're at home and we're doing this, and something comes up that's really traumatic, and we're on our own. How do you deal with that without a professional being with you?
Sure. So those are going to be the initial steps. Is really sending it to medical practices first. So we can kind of flush out those cases where something really traumatic does come up, where the patient does have a really adverse reaction. And by working with professionals, hopefully I'll gain the understanding to how to best treat those situations.
I have two questions. The first one is EMDR a one-size-fits-all solution, or are there tailored programs that would be appropriate for different types of conditions?
Sure. So tailored programs that's the path I'm going right now, because one trauma may be different from another. Whether it's the loss of a loved one, a car accident, or any other traumatic event, they're treated very similarly, but there is a difference that makes huge impact on the patient. So having different modules within the application will be able to address that.
My second question relates to security, because there's a lot of sensitive information, one would presume, and if this is being gathered somewhere, what sort of security measures would you have in place?
Sure. So the virtual reality application doesn't collect any data. So I actually built a separate web application. So I did this just because users are more familiar with entering data through a computer versus on a virtual reality application. And by using a HIPAA-compliant database, there won't be any issues with the data.
So we saw in one of the presentations here virtual reality and its potential future role in the wellness spa there. And I know you're just kind of in your early phases of doing your research and clinicals and setting out on that, but I wanted to see in the research you've already done, do you think and have you seen any other potential applications for this for the spaces that we're already working in particular the wellness area, and something that I actually have an interest in that I'd like to hear from you is sleep patterns, things like that, virtual reality as an application. So as far as sleep is concerned, it presents its own challenges because you're using a device that emits blue light. So even if it is an application that's supposed to help sleep, it's kind of it's kind of defeating the purpose of a sleep application. So I think for sleep, it would come down to what kind of device, or it would have to be a specific device that filters blue light. So you can apply it to sleep. There's definitely applications as far as taking patients to different environments or scenes that may relax them for sleep. Thank you.
Would this be, from a distribution perspective, you talked a little bit about potentially working with medical practices and licensing it, but I just see like are you planning to also have sort of a commercial app that anyone could download, let's say from an app store or something, or are you focused, because those price points, and I don't know if you've thought about that, so talk a little bit about pricing.
Sure.
But then licensing and those sorts of things to me would allow you to obviously monetize it much more significantly than what traditional apps would go for. But then on the flip side, obviously having more access to something like this, a simple tool. And what are, if you can also elaborate on, what are the most effective treatments today for PTSD? Give us a little bit of background on what you know about it.
Sure. So for pricing, the pricing model that I'm currently comfortable with is licensing it for $100 to practices, and then a subscription of $50 a month to individuals. And that's far better than the current cost of therapy, because each therapy session is going to cost you between $180 and $250. And that can be twice a month up to 4 times a month. So that's much better than paying that price.
Okay, you've got 1 minute. Sure. What's your career aspirations?
I see this as just the beginning. This is my foot in the door to making mental health care more accessible to everybody. So really continuing with this, making mental health care more accessible. I see, and I have a huge journal that I write everything that I really want to do, but I have to focus on one thing at a time, is finding a more concrete way of diagnosing.
Okay, and you've got 20 seconds to make an appeal to the audience. What do you want from them?
Sure. So if any of you have a medical practice, know of medical practices that would benefit from doing clinical tests and studies, I would love to connect with you.
You've got one hand up. You've got one hand up there.
Yep.
Thank you.
Jarrod, thank you so much. And thank you to all the students. I'd also like their professors to stand up. Thank you so much for mentoring them and bringing them here and doing everything you've done. It's really important for the next generation. And I also want to thank our judges. The Sharks will deliberate and deliver their results this afternoon. It's time for a break. Thank you.